We are going to start by reviewing your Bridges pages on page 246 using the array method. Caleb just got an order for 2 more flags. Use his sketch plans to figure out how many square feet of cloth it will take to make each flag. The flag order is for a flag that's 2.5 feet wide by 4.5 feet long. A says to write an expression to represent the area. Well, for area, you do length times width. And in this case, we've got a 2.5 feet wide flag by 4.5 feet long. So 2.5 by 4.5 would be your expression. For B, you have to come up with an estimate, one that's most reasonable, and explain why. Well, first off, when I'm multiplying my mixed numbers, I know that I'm going to have to do 2 times 4, and I know that 2 times 4 is 8. However, that's not the only numbers that I need to multiply. I also know I need to do half times 4, half times 2. So half times 4 is 2, and 1/2 times 2 is 1. So you're adding another 3 to that. And then you're also multiplying 1/2 by 1/2. So if 8 plus 3 is 11, and you're going to have 1/2 times 1/2, it's going to be a little bit more than 11 square feet. For C, we have to use a sketch, and in the sketch we are going to use the array where we break apart the mixed numbers. So to do a sketch, you make a box, and you take your 4.5 and you split into a whole number 4 and half the fractional part. And you take 2.5 on the other side and split it into 2 and 1/2, and you're going to draw some lines to separate those numbers. So in this first box right here, you'll do your 2 times 4, which is 8. On this side, you'll do your 2 times 1/2, and 1/2 of 2 is 1. Down here, you've got your 1/2 times 4, and 1/2 of 4 is 2. And then last but not least, you've got your 1/2 times 1/2. Multiply the 1 by the 1, and you get 1, and the denominator is 2 times 2, and you get 4. So you're going to add all of those up together. 8 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1/4. And your final answer is 11 and 1/4. And your label is going to be feet squared, because 2.5 feet by 4.5 feet will be feet squared. So it will take, down here at the bottom, 11 and 1/4 square feet of cloth to make this flag. We've got a second order for a flag. It's 3.5 feet wide by 4 3/4 feet long. So your expression will be 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. We have to choose the best estimate. Well, I know that 3 times 4 is 12. And then 1/2 times 4 is 2, so we're going to add 2 to that. But then I also know that I have to do 3/4 of 3 and then 1/2 times that. So 14, it's going to be more than 14. So I'm going to say 16 is going to be the best estimate, because we still have some more fractions to multiply out and add on to the 14. And last, we have a sketch for the flag. And to do a sketch, you're going to do an open array. And you're going to break each fraction apart. So you've got 4 and 3/4, and then draw a line to separate them. You've got 3 and 1/2, and draw a line to separate them. In the first box, you will do 3 times 4, which is 12. This box over here, 3 times 3/4. And since 3 is a whole number, you can put that over 1. And now you can multiply out your numerators. 3 times 3, which is 9. 1 times 4, which is 4. 4 goes into 9 2 times because 4 times 2 is 8. There's 1 left over because 9 minus 8 is 1. So your final answer is 2 1/4. Down here you'll do 1/2 times 4, which is 2. And then last, you've got your two fractions, 1/2 times 3/4. Do your numerator times your numerator, 3. Denominator times denominator, which is 8. Now you need to add all of these up together, so you need to do 12 plus 2 plus 2 1/4 plus 3/8. I'm going to go ahead and add my whole numbers up and then change my fractions to common denominators. So 12 plus 2 got 16. And then I need to change 1/4 and 3/8 to common denominators. I know that 4 can go into 8, so I'm just going to change my 4ths to 8ths. And to do that, I'm going to multiply 4 by 2. What I do to the bottom, I have to do the top. So 1 times 2 is 2. So now I've got 2/8 plus 3/8, and that's going to be 5/8. So my final answer is 16 5/8 feet squared. And you can fill that in the blank down there.